I'm Sarah Sapsanama, and these are the headlines of the hour. Private medical practitioners extend their support to government doctors who have been staging a protest for the past 1 week. Government yet to act as patients bear the brunt. Chief Justice Rana fails in appointment of judges despite initial efforts to improve the judiciary, faces criticisms from former justices to those at office. Doors open for foreign investors in security market. Entrance of non-residential Nepalese expected to improve the market. And Under-19 World Cup qualifiers kicks off in Malaysia today. Nepal playing against Singapore in the first match at the moment. We'll start with the latest national political updates. Government doctors across the country continued with their protests against the government's adjustment process for 7th day yesterday, halting all but emergency services. Despite the ongoing agitation mounting on the plight of increasing number of patients, the Nepal Medical Doctors Association, medical practitioners from private hospitals and various groups of experts have been supporting the protests. The ticket counter at Bir Hospital remained shut for the 7th day yesterday. Doctors provided general health checkup services to the patients at the hospital premise under makeshift tents. The protesting doctors have demanded they be brought to the centre's jurisdiction and have warned of continuing with their protests until the government addressed their demands. Meanwhile, there are many patients who have come to the capital from across the country. Those who can afford have opted for private hospitals. However, patients from poorer financial status have been left without any option than to wait for the doctors to resume their services. The doctors have given a 72-hour ultimatum to the government to hold discussion and address their demands. However, speaking at the weekly press conference, government spokesperson and communications minister Gokul Baskota expressed confidence of resolving the issue in a few days. Despite the law in place to halt obstructions at health services, the government has remained a silent spectator throughout. It has been 3 days since the government warned of taking actions as provisioned by the Emergency Health Services Act, among others. However, the warnings have so far limited to rhetoric alone. The Council of Ministers has blocked the sales and transfer of the controversial 113 ropani of land in Lalita Niwas at Balwatar after it was found to be owned by private individuals. At the weekly press conference held yesterday to announce the Cabinet's decisions, government spokesperson Gokul Baskota stated necessary actions will be taken against all those guilty. The government has found itself in a tight corner regarding the controversial Lalita Niwas land after the ruling Nepal Communist Party General Secretary Bishnu Paudel was linked to the land deal. However, Minister Baskota has said the government will not spare anyone if proven guilty. Likewise, in other announcements, Minister Baskota said the government has decided to become a founder member of the China's Belt and Road Initiative. The government has also declared sensitive zones in Taplejung, Sangkhuasaba, Manang, Solukhumbu and Doloka districts as prohibited zones. Meanwhile, the government has also decided to provide province-specific holidays to offices of the federal government established at the provincial level. The federal government units at the centre will receive holidays as per the Home Ministry's decision. Now, in a bid to change the tarnished image of the judiciary, Chief Justice Cholendra Samsher Rana summoned a few disputed justices from their workstations itself and instigated investigations on them by forming a small team from the Judicial Council. Chief Justice Rana also attempted to rectify a few of the disputed verdicts given in the past. However, the Judicial Council's decision to appoint disputed and inexperienced justices to the Supreme Court and High Court solely based on political prowess has cast doubts over Rana's commitment to improving the judiciary's image. The recommendation and recent appointment of 5 justices to the Supreme Court and 18 for the High Court has met with severe criticism from all quarters. Apart from law practitioners, those who rarely voiced against the judiciary's decisions have publicly criticized these appointments. They have stated the judiciary's decision to appoint candidates without even evaluating their educational credentials has further dented the public's trust in the institution. In his initial days at office, Chief Justice Cholinder Samsher Rana took probing steps against justices who had given controversial verdicts under the alleged influence of middlemen or for vested interests. However, Rana has now been accused of promoting the same disputed justices to please political leaders, officials of the judiciary and former justices and chief justices. While appointing any law practitioner for the post of justice, there is a separate unit to evaluate the track record of the candidate and the contributions he or she has made. The council also takes opinion from the concerned stakeholders before making the appointment. However, the Judicial Council has breached its own procedures to make its recent appointments. Law experts have shown concerns if Chief Justice Rana has become too lenient as of late. Rana's initial steps to improve the image of the judiciary is taken as an obvious move. However, the change in his modus operandi has again threatened the public's trust in the institution. The Nepal Army stands at 6th in the list of peace mission forces that have been working to maintain peace across the world. Nepal's Peace Corps has also been deployed in the conflict-ridden Libya as of recent. While peace missions from many countries like the US and India have started withdrawing their troops following discussions between the Libyan government and the rebel groups failed, Nepal has not been able to clarify its stance on whether Nepal's Peace Corps should be called back as well. The conflict in the African nation has escalated as of recent after the rebel groups expedited attacks to control the capital, Tripoli. The US and India have already started calling their troops back from Libya, citing security reasons. The government has not been able to clarify whether it also wants to call the officers back due to the escalating conflict. There are 231 Nepal Peace Corps officers deployed for the security of the United Nations headquarters in Libya. As all international flights from Libya have been shut down, the risk has increased, but there's a possibility of taking the troops to Tunisia by road. The Nepal Army has said the Nepalese officers are safe as they are under the UN headquarters. But if they are to be called back, the mission chief needs to call off the mission. There are around 5,000 Nepal Army officers deployed in 12 countries. During a UN visit, Defence Minister Ishwar Pokhrel also announced that the government is working to double the number. Apart from the Nepal Army, security personnel from the Nepal Police and Armed Police Force are also sent for peace missions. However, the Foreign Affairs Ministry does not have any unit to coordinate between these institutions nor a common leadership in the countries with Nepal's peace missions. So far, since the first peace mission, 63 Nepalese security officers have lost their lives while 64 others have been injured. The past record calls for an immediate diplomatic initiative from the government to ensure the safety of Nepalese security personnel in conflict zones. Non-residential Nepalese or NRNs will now get to invest in Nepal's share market. The government has opened ways for NRNs to invest in the security market as the Foreign Investment and Technology Transfer Act has been endorsed. However, it has taken almost 8 years since the government initiated the process to bring in NRN investments in the Nepalese share market. The Security Board of Nepal had already begun changing its programs and policies to facilitate for NRN investment 4 years back. Despite interest from many NRNs, legal complications had kept them from investing in the share market so far. However, with the endorsement of the Foreign Investment and Technology Transfer Act, it has paved way for the NRNs and foreign investors into the share market. As per the provisions in the Act, non-residential Nepalese and foreign investors can now register for a company and invest in the share market. However, the laws still bar individual NRNs and foreign investors from investing in the share market. Meanwhile, the Securities Board of Nepal has started preparations to facilitate for individual investors as well. The demands at the share market is lesser than the availability of shares at the moment. In the absence of new investors, Nepal's share market is witnessing a bearish trend for long. At this juncture, experts are of the view that the share market might stage a comeback with the new provisions. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has said that a manufacturing plant of electric vehicles would soon be established in Nepal. Addressing the 53rd Annual General Assembly of the Federation of Nepalese Chamber of Commerce and Industries yesterday, Prime Minister Oli assured of establishing a manufacturing plant in Nepal for production of electric vehicles and also expressed commitment of providing support to businesses that want to make take initiatives in this regard. Citing the lack of balance between budget and programs in the first year of the implementation of federalism, Prime Minister Oli promised of improvements in coming years. Oli added that the government was prepared to work in public-private partnership as well. District Government Hospital Bara of Province 2 keeps direct relation with the health status and treatment of 700,000 population of this place. The hospital has 58 quotas for doctors, whereas 32 of them are vacant. Patients visiting this hospital have been facing difficulties in treatment. In this context, we had asked the service seekers at this hospital what difficulties have they been facing during their treatment process. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
डाक्टर आउनुहुन्छ तर एकछिन बस्नुहुन्छ यहाँबाट गइहाल्नुहुन्छ बिरामीलाई धेरै नै शास्ति भइरहेको छ
कुनै गरिब मान्छे आइरहेछ यहाँ छरपटाइरहेछ रोइरहेछ कुनै डाक्टर पनि यहाँ टाइममा आइरहेको छैन अर्को क्लिनिक छ त्यसको अब के भनिराख्ने हामीलाई त यति गाह्रो छ
डाक्टर हुनुहुन्छ भनेर थाहा पाएर आएको अब नभएपछि प्राइभेटमा गएर भए पनि आफ्नो बच्चालाई उपचार गर्नुपर्छ के गर्नु
मान्छेहरु आउँछ आज पुर्जी नभए भोलि आउनुपर्छ जस्तो छ यहाँ ओपीडीमा पनि त्यस्तै छ इमर्जेन्सीमा त अलि छ
मान्छेको लाइन यत्रो भिड छ टाइममा केही पनि आएर उपचार गरिरहेको छैन
And time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And your question is, why has the depletion of natural resources in the Ture region not stopped? Your options are A, weak monitoring, B, commission games, and C, lack of coordination. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And with that, it's now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal is currently playing against Singapore in their inaugural match of the ICC Under-19 World Cup Asia Region qualifiers being held in Malaysia. In the match being played at Selangor Turf Club in Kuala Lumpur, right now Nepal were put to bat first after losing the toss. According to the latest update, Nepal have scored 76 runs in 14 overs, losing 2 wickets. Nepal lost the wicket of Reet Gautam when only 3 runs were on the board. Gautam was out after scoring just 1 run. Nepal's second wicket fell when Asif Sheikh was out after scoring 18 runs when the score was 18. Pawan Sharaf and Rohit Paudel have added 58 for the third wicket partnership. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur TV HD for more news and entertainment. Bye for now.